Should I turn off other?
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great week. I know all of us are exhausted from the election and hoping it's all over soon, regardless of how it turns out. I know we all have our own choices there. But whoever becomes president of the United States, all of us entrepreneurs, we roll with it, we move it forward, we make a difference every day in American lives because we create jobs, we create wealth, we make things happen. And that's what our job is. And so we need to just focus on that. So this morning, let me start off with our first question, which comes from Alisa Tambazai. And Alisa asked the question, I want to start an organizing business and I'm not sure if I should start from scratch and create a new LLC, use my old one and recreate it, or start with a trial clients before I do anything. Her business description is, I currently have a consulting business that I've taken off and I'm not sure that is where my passion lies right now. I realize one of my main passions in life is organizing and I feel I should be much more successful doing that for people as I already have in the past. I feel that I could market to my existing clients and friends for now and see where that takes me. I already have one client and I do this for, and I get compliments on how I'm organized and how my life is. My elevator pitch is my services prepare all of my clients' life documents. We work together to create a unique customized book, toast everything from your wills, funeral arrangements, tax insurance, auto, home, and much more. My services intend to lift much of the stress on families after a loved one passes. First of all, I like this idea. I think this book sounds like this service sounds like a fantastic idea. So I would be surprised if you're not successful with this because everybody needs this kind of organization. But you asked if in fact, if you start this, should you not start from scratch and create a new LLC? I think if the business is relatively the same, I think it's fine to use the same LLC. And in fact, I remember a story from a guy named Pete Musser, who is a world famous venture capitalist. And when he had invested in Novell, it was going out of business until this gentleman came up to him and said, hey, I think I could recreate Novell and make it a better company. And Pete asked him, should we close down the incorporation and and create a new name? And the guy said, why spend the $300? We already have an incorporation. Let's just use that. So I think that if you can use it, unless it's giving a name like it's Joe's Steak Sandwich and you're in a totally different business, if I were you, I would just keep the incorporation and use it. If you're looking at it as a spin-off, totally separate business. So for instance, I have 5 other businesses and I separately incorporated each of those businesses because they're all different types of businesses and don't fit with the main business I have, which is consulting to entrepreneurs, Kramer Communications. So I have stress-free family business, and that consults to family businesses. I have something called Funding Organizer, and that provides a service to banks to collect information from companies that want to apply for a commercial bank loan. So again, don't bother wasting your money doing that unless the name, and even if your name is different, you can have a name change and still use the same incorporation, just trade as something. The other thing that you should also always do is talk to your lawyer because every state is different. There's different laws in every state for businesses. So check with the lawyers and find out what they might recommend. Okay. Our second question here comes from Marlena Carter. Marlena tells us she has a dog grooming salon in operation for 8 years. Are there things to do that will increase value and expedite the process? Even the thought of determining the value is a challenging concept for me. What are some things to do to prepare to sell the business? I work with a lot of owners who want to sell their business. Now, first of all, one of the things that typically everybody does is they don't buy your incorporation. So if you have Marlena's dog grooming business, Incorporated, they're not buying that. They're going to buy the assets of the business. So the bathtub that you are using for the dog, they'll buy your mailing list, they'll buy all the shampoos that you have, they'll buy everything but the incorporation, because if they buy the corporation, then if somebody sues that corporation, now they're responsible. So let's say that you did something to a dog 3 years ago and the dog dies, and now they find out that because of the shampoo that you used, that's the reason the dog died. Now they're suing that corporation, Marlena's Incorporated, and now the new owner says, wait a minute, I never did anything like that. That was 3 years ago. But yeah, but you bought the corporation, so you bought all the assets and the liabilities that go with that corporation. So that being said, if you're trying to figure out what the value is, you have to take a look at all the customers. So let's say you have 1,000 customers, but 50% of them are continuous customers. They see you month after month, quarter after quarter. There's a certain value to that. There are people who come in monthly, there's a value to. There's people who come in weekly, there's people who come in quarterly. All of those people, so you put them all into a spreadsheet and you're able to show a buyer, hey, I've got 1,000 customers, 80% of them are renewable customers, month after month, year after year. And so out of the 1,000, 80% of those, and I do 500,000 a year, but out of 500,000, 400,000 are this repeat business, and we build up this name. And by the way, the other people, they still come to us. They just don't come to us as frequently. Well, now you're able to say, because that's your true value, is your customers and how often they come back, and here's what they spend with us. Not only do they get a shampoo, but they buy shampoos, they do this. The average value of my customer in a year is $500. Okay, now they're able to know that each of your customers is worth this much. So what you want to do is put together a spreadsheet, put together all of your customers, mark out, are they weekly, are they bi-monthly, are they monthly, are they quarterly, are they yearly, and list all the things that they spend money on, and then add those up, because that's the first thing a buyer is going to take a look at. And then put a value on your tub. So if you bought your tub 10 years ago and you spend $1,000 on it, that tub's probably only worth $100 now. If in fact you have cases of shampoo and brushes and everything else, they're probably worth some kind of negligible amount. So that's how you go and value your business. Just put all those things together on a spreadsheet, and then you're able to show them. The one thing I would tell anybody when you're selling a business is keep working really hard, because if you start talking to a buyer and then take your eye off the ball, the buyer will discount the amount of money that they're going to pay you, because they're going to say, oh, the business is slumped in the time period that we were going to buy it from you. So now, if the business looks like it's not going to do $500,000 a year, it's only going to do $300,000 a year. Now you've wiped out a lot of value for yourself. The other thing to do if you're going to sell this business, besides value it, and I'm giving you a little bit more than maybe you wanted to know, one of the things that you should definitely do is not only just continue to focus on bringing on new business, but making sure that when you're talking to people, that maybe you're talking to a couple different people, because if you have other people competing to buy your business, you get a better valuation, and you'll get a deal done sooner. I found out the hard way that when I went and sold a business and I was only dealing with one person, they controlled the narrative. They decided how fast they would move. And a lot of times when you're the only one, then all of a sudden you just want to get the deal done. So keep pushing it forward. Don't be in a position where you absolutely have to sell the business. And just remember that the real value that you have is probably just your customer list and how much repeat business that you get. Okay, our next question comes from Benjamin Mira, and Benjamin says that he asked, for a bookkeeping practice, should I hire a salesperson to do more advertising, or both? And he said, we are a digital bookkeeping and CFO business that wants to double our revenue as fast as possible by signing up new monthly clients. His elevator pitch is, at Speakeasy Bookkeeping, like that name, Speakeasy, We help business owners get more organized, keep more money, and attain more freedom by providing world-class bookkeeping and CFO services. We're the most trusted bookkeeping and CFO name in the fiat and crypto game, and we even offer bookkeeping for your cryptocurrency investments. So, look, you need to be able to focus on your business and making sure you keep your customers happy. But if you only have 20, 30, 40 customers and they're not keeping you so busy that you can't go out and sell it, then you still need to come out and sell it. But once you start bringing enough money in that you're going to start hiring people, or you want to start hiring people, then get a salesperson on board who's going to network different trade associations, chambers of commerce, any kinds of business organizations, so they can go out there and give them a small salary, but a lot of incentive through bonuses, or that they get a commission on what they're bringing in, and a continuous commission. Think about what it would be worthwhile for you to bring them on, and get somebody who is well networked in the community to go and do it. So if you're not really good at sales and you really don't like to sell, and you're also having to do the work, once you know that you have enough customers in, that you can at least get somebody started to help you on this, or you might even consider bringing in a partner, and they can be a minority partner, and they could go and earn 20% of the business, because it's a nice reoccurring revenue business. I mean, rarely do people change their accountants, their insurance brokers, their doctors, their barbers, their hairdressers. And in fact, in the accounting world and the legal world, when somebody picks an accountant or a lawyer, typically 95% of the time, they stay with that lawyer or accountant until they leave the business, or they outgrow the accountant or the lawyer. So you rarely, and I'm sure you found this, rarely do you ever have a customer that leaves you, as long as you're doing quality work for them. So yes, it would be good to hire somebody, but make sure you put the right compensation schedule together, the right type of person that has a drive to help you grow this business, and also decide how big do you want to grow this business. I know consultants who don't want to grow a large business because they don't want all the responsibility of employees and taking so many customers on that they don't have work-life balance. So you have to determine what kind of work-life balance that you want as well. Okay, our next question comes from Gabriel Suarez, and Gabriel tells us that he's looking for suggestions or advice on sourcing non-traditional or non-SBA financing options for franchisees, loans anywhere from $75,000 to $150,000. His business description background are: because my franchise model includes the sale of CBD oil, most traditional lenders such as major banks or the SBA will not offer financing to our franchisees. I need help finding alternative financing solutions for our franchisees, even lead to someone very experienced in this field that may be able to help me appreciate it. And the elevator pitch is: I'm founder of Natural Life Stores Franchise Company, offering brick and mortar franchise opportunities. Natural Life is a chain of retail wellness and health stores, especially in all natural products. So there's a couple ways that you could go here. One way is to go to private equity and ask a private equity firm who believes in this concept if they will provide the financing for you and a share in the ownership of this franchise business. You might also go to other large healthcare franchisors and ask them if they would like to join you as a partner in this business. And another group to go to is go to the crowdfunding sites that provide loans, and see if there's a partnership that you could develop with them. And also, another choice would be going to angel investors and see if a group of angel investors would be interested in getting involved in this and putting up a certain amount of money, that they would have both equity and get a return on investment, either through interest or what Mr. Wonderful and Shark Tank always love, which is royalties. So that would be a good way for you to go. So you don't have to depend on the banks. We know this is a fast-growing market, although we have been hearing some of these companies have been going out of business because there's so much saturation and so many players in this business. So hopefully you've got a good plan for them, a good marketing strategy, and that you're able to help them not only survive but flourish in whatever area of the country that they so choose. But those are the best sources: private equity, angel investors, crowdsourcing, those folks who have the capital to go and do it and could have some equity, royalties, or get a rate of interest on a loan that's convertible. All of those types of folks would be good for you to go and contact. The next question is from Trish Murphy, and Trish says, is it critical to have a trademark when you create a brand? Are there inexpensive ways of getting around trademarks being denied? I sell false eyelashes online. I created my own brand of false eyelashes that has done pretty well, but have run into trademark issues with the name. They've been worn by Miss USA title holders and contestants on The Bachelor, so some good products, photos for them, and everyone has really loved them. I haven't done a ton with trying to sell them wholesale because of not having the name trademarked. But do sell them on my website along with other brands. The trademark hasn't been approved because it's the name of the geographic location. Should I continue using this name or start over with a name and branding in order to ensure I get a trademark? So, what the first thing you need to do is contact an intellectual property firm. And if you don't have one in your area or you don't know one, you can reach out to Sean or reach out to myself, and I'm glad to make some introductions for you. And it's pretty easy actually to even trademark on your own, and you might create a name or ask your customers for suggestions of names. I've known businesses where they put out a contest and ask customers for a suggestion for a name, and then they go and trademark that particular name. And you can trademark a name as long as it's not competing with another trademark in a similar business. So let's say you call yourself Yahoo Eyelashes. And Yahoo, we already know, was a search engine. So if you had Yahoo Eyelashes, probably Yahoo can't serve you because you're in a totally different field. But that again being said, you should definitely contact an intellectual property attorney. And frankly, trademarking your name, unless you have great aspirations for it to grow to be a really significant business, you really can't do much with the trademark in terms of selling it. It's not like a patent where even if the business isn't successful, the patent has certain value. Trademarks like Coca-Cola, like AT&T, only have value once you've grown a business that everybody knows its name, like Facebook and Google and some of those other things. If Michael Jordan trademarked his name, of course, there's real value because everybody on the planet knows who Michael Jordan is. So take a look at contacting an intellectual property attorney. And if you don't know one, ask Sean or myself, and we'll be glad to make an introduction for you. The next question is from Lindsay Lannan. And Lindsay writes, what are some red flags to look for when opening an account with a vendor or reviewing a contract? She owns Lindsay owns a chocolate company, and I've been starring to gather vendors for packaging, chocolate supplies, and I want to make sure I don't get myself into a situation when I overpay or agree to a contract that I regret. So if you're taking on vendors that are going to be providing you with materials, then you need to talk to a variety of different vendors and see what prices they offer, and then ask them for some of their clients that you can go and talk to. And also look online and see if anybody's written anything negative about them, about the quality of the product or their pricing, or somebody else has a better suggestion for you. And you should probably contact the trade association whatever the name of the candy trade association is, and ask them for recommendations of vendors that you might work with that they feel are honest, good people that other people have had great experiences with. And if you're selling chocolate in Pennsylvania, you might contact a chocolate maker in California and ask them who they use. And so that way you can find out from them who you might not be competing with. Or let's say you're offering chocolate products in one area, like chocolate covered raisins, dark chocolate covered raisins. If you are, please send me some. Or if somebody is making chocolate covered peanuts in another area, but they have some of the same ingredients that they can use, you might contact them, even if they're in the same town as you, and ask them who they might recommend. So you want to get recommendations. You want to go on Google and type in the names of these vendors and see what comes up, see if there's any lawsuits or anything negative about them. And you want to contact you want to contact your chocolate trade association and ask them for recommendations. And if you have a lawyer or an accountant who handles other chocolate businesses, then ask them also for recommendations. Our next question comes from Kimberly Patterson. And Kimberly asked, is it okay that 50% of my earnings went into running Facebook ads? Her business is, it's been exactly a year now since I have jumped into the deep end of learning and running Facebook ads. I've been running Facebook ads to my brides as well as to my first online makeup masterclass. In all, I've spent $5,700 roughly and earned $12,000. Kimberly Patterson Beauty provides premium bridal and beauty services and classes for women who love the natural yet enhanced makeup look. Anytime, whether it's Facebook ads, print ads in newspapers, radio, television, doesn't matter what it is. What you need to look at, and it looks like you got a good return, but I don't know what your net is. So let's say that you're spending this $5,700, you're getting $12,000 in return. Great. So that looks really good. But how much are you retaining after you've spent that money? Could you do email marketing campaigns and get the same kind of return? Could you go and get radio spots and do that? Could you go and work with bridal shops and ask them to refer you customers for 10% of the commission? So you need to create a spreadsheet and look at different scenarios and see what does the best. If you take a look and you said to yourself, for every $1,000 I spend on Facebook, I get 3-4 times return. Wow, that's pretty great. So you're going to compare that against other things that you might try and see what the return on investment for that is. So initially, it looks like you're almost getting double your money back. So you're getting your money back and making some money. So the Facebook ads look good. It seems like a natural, because Facebook is a business to consumer platform. So I think you're making the right decisions. But if you really want to go and figure it out, you create a spreadsheet, you show how much you're spending, what the return is, and all the expenses that you have to go and do that, to run that business and to put those ads together. And then you try a few other things and see what those returns are, because those returns may be better, may not be as good, or they may also be as good and you might want to branch out so you don't have all your eggs in one basket. So again, go create a spreadsheet, go and see what other things might have a good return on it. And since you are seeing a great return, because if you told me you were spending $5,700 and all you got back was $5,700 in business, I would definitely say to you, this isn't working out so well for you. You need to try something else. But since you are getting good return, and as you collect all these brides that you're working with, then you should incentivize those brides to be ambassadors for you and ask them to please email to their social media list and put it on Facebook, show pictures of what they've been able to do with your product and your services, so people will look and say, oh my gosh, how can I call that business and help me out as I'm getting prepared for my own wedding? So leverage all those folks. But it sounds to me like Facebook has been very good for you. Our last question comes from Brianna Carroll. Brianna asks, what's the best way to start collecting email addresses and a mailing list? How soon before our grand opening should I start collecting this info? How soon before opening should I start offering pre-sale items? So her business is, I'm opening a play center for kids that offers other services such as adult fitness and yoga classes, kids classes, swim classes, healthy cafe, parties, and a salon and spa. I assume about a month or two before opening, I'll start offering pre-sales for birthday parties and memberships. I like some suggestions on if that's a good thing. There's also so many options to get email mailing list and would like some advice on what the mentors think in the best way. I will be passing out flyers to businesses, schools, and such, plus hosting pop-up events, but also planning to send flyers to residents by buying mailing lists for new moms and parents. Just not sure if this is the best plan of attack. The business is Wow Mom's World is an upscale multi-service center for modern families focusing on parental well-being and child stimulation. I think it's also a place that you're keeping your sanity from the kids getting to play there to you getting pampered and working out and getting the stress out. So I applaud this new business that you're starting and it sounds out great. If I were you and I was doing this business, first of all, I would start buying lists now on a regional basis because I'm assuming that all of your customers are coming from within a 5 mile radius of your business. And I would contact marketing people who have marketed these kinds of centers or owners who own similar businesses in other cities and states and ask them what's been successful for them. And I would contact the trade association for similar types of businesses and ask them if they've done any studies on this area. Now, in terms of buying mailing lists, typically when you're buying names where you're getting the name, the phone number, the email address, and the email address is most important, these are going to cost you about 50 cents a piece. What I might do to start accumulating these lists is maybe advertising in local church bulletins, both online and in print. I would advertise in the school. I would advertise everywhere that's relatively inexpensive. And I would give a discount to the first 100 or 200 people that join. You want to set a specific number and a specific time period so people want to jump on it right away. Because if you say, if you pre-order now, but not say that there is a certain number of them available, there's no rush for people to go and do it. That's why you see these ads where it says 20% off for the next 24 hours. And if you don't take it then the percentage is going to drop to 10% and then to nothing. So they have to create this immediacy in order for people to move forward. And then you might ask all your friends and relatives, if they live in the area, to email people out and to put it on their Facebook, on LinkedIn, anywhere, and let people know that you are starting this business and drive them to your website and be able to get on. And then I would start having people post pictures when they do finally join you and experience it. But you should definitely have a big open house. And if you're in a small town, ask the mayor to do a ribbon cutting with you. So any of these things that are going to go and attract people to come out that first day and really spend a lot of money on the grand opening. But considering that we're in COVID right now, you might delay this until there's a cure in place because there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be very hesitant to utilize your business until they know it's safe. Even with the mask and everything, you could end up spending a lot of money. So I would suggest if you're still planning on opening, do a soft launch where you're inviting people to try it out and they're experiencing it, and then maybe they'll join. So you might say for the first week, it's free for people or for some period of time. I know I've done a lot of startups and myself, I always give people free for a certain period of time. I mean, that's why Dropbox and everybody else offers a free version that they know that you'll clearly outgrow, but they offer it so you have the experience of using their product or service. That's why you can go and take a yoga class for free or any of these others. There's even a site that tells you about all the free classes that you can go and take because all those people are hoping that they'll convert you once you get there. So that's what you're looking to go and do. So again, thank you for your questions. I hope all of you have a safe day. And remember, no matter who wins this election, we're all Americans. We're all in this together. We're all family. And we all have to work together to create a place that everybody else has looked up to for the past couple hundred years. The rest of the world has always admired us, and we want to make sure they keep admiring us. And good luck creating those new ventures, jobs, and wealth in your communities. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.